As I was thinking about what to do for Pride Month, I realized something. I introduce myself a lot on streams by saying GenderFluid Femboy, GenderFluid streamer, GenderFluid Femboy, GenderFluid Femboy. Although even though I introduce myself like that all the time, I've realized something. I never talked about my journey to realizing I was genderfluid. I would love to say I was just born and realized, bam, genderfluid. That's the label I'm going with. But I didn't. That's not how it works. So let's talk about it. Although to do so, we need to go back quite a few years.
Excuse me, Miguel?
The Dark Lord banishes thee!
Ethan Stewart is thinking about getting an Xbox. And he's thinking about the 70 incredible titles like Rally Sport and Spider-Man.
And you can have a new 2002 Mustang for as little as $225 a month.
Now you might be asking, why did we go back to 2002? And well, that's because I was personally born in 2002. Now that we've said hello, let's go ahead and say goodbye to 2002 because there's not much else for us here. We're going to fast forward a bit and continue on my upbringing. I personally grew up going to a private Christian school. I still personally am Christian myself, and we can talk about that a bit later. But of course, I am also openly LGBTQ+. When I was growing up, I didn't really understand what it meant to be LGBTQ. I didn't understand the movement that was going on with it. I kind of was just in this state of, I didn't understand, but it didn't affect me, if that makes sense. My family had friends, and I had friends who were LGBTQ, and I was taught that that's good, that they're perfectly valid for living who they are. I think one of my main experiences was actually, funny enough, on a trip to Disney, because it was Star Wars week, but also it was Disney's LGBTQ week.
One of the largest gay vacation events in the world. An estimated 150,000 gays came to Central Florida to hit the theme parks, restaurants, many sporting the trademark red t-shirts. The economic impact is considered substantial, $100 million. It started as a one-day event at Disney. Now it's a 4-day extravaganza.
So yeah, I mean, that was my first actual experience being around a lot of LGBTQ+ people. That being said, it didn't really change me in any way. I didn't go about things differently. So let's fast forward more and more through high school. There's not really much to talk about there. I personally didn't start dating until I was 17 because I just never was interested and I just didn't question it. At 17, I got into my first relationship and it lasted about 2 years. During the course of this relationship, though, I would discover quite a bit about myself. The first time I ever painted my nails was for a costume. And it led to me realizing I liked the texture of my nails painted, so I kept doing it more and more. I grew my hair out longer because COVID happened. You know, COVID, that world pandemic that was,
China has identified the cause of the mysterious new virus.
Coronavirus.
There are fears a rapidly spreading virus has reached Australia.
This is a rapidly emerging situation where there is not a cause for alarm.
The first US case has been detected.
There's confirmation the coronavirus has reached Australia.
China is urging its citizens not to travel abroad as it struggles to contain the virus.
Yeah, that pandemic. But on the plus side, I learned that I liked to grow my hair out. I liked my hair longer. I learned that I liked to paint my nails. And I was kind of in this weird state of I still identified as a cis male, but I liked acting and dressing more effeminate. So I took on the term femboy because, yeah, I think it at that time fit. And I'm pretty sure everyone knows what a femboy is. It's a person who is normally assigned male at birth that dresses and acts more effeminate. It's a very big cultural thing with jokes and memes like Femboy Hooters, which hilarious. Honestly, I could pull off that costume maybe one day. But I still didn't feel like I was male every day. Like I was a guy every day. Some days I felt like I was more effeminate, like I identified as a female, but I kind of just brushed it off and called myself a slightly fruity femboy. However, then I had a few of my friends around me go through transition periods where they realized that they were non-binary. And as I was talking more and more with them, pieces started to kind of click like dominoes. And I realized that genderqueer was a term, that genderfluid was a term. And I swear, my mind was the... So I started looking more into what being genderfluid meant, because while it sounded nice, I was unsure. I didn't know if I wanted to label myself that, if that makes sense. And the more and more I looked into it, the more and more I realized, yeah, that fits way too well. So let's talk about that transition period and realizing I was genderfluid and coming out, because it's scary. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's terrifying to, especially when there's so much support against LGBTQ+. It's terrifying to come out. But I realized that's who I was, and I didn't want to hide it. My family kind of was my biggest fear, of course. While they were very supportive of the LGBTQ+ movement, trans rights, it's still something that in you that's anxiety. But they've been really supportive. My mother sent me pearls recently, which is so sweet. My friends were there for me. They understood it. One of my friends had apparently even said, I kind of was implying to you that you weren't straight, that you might be genderqueer a lot of the time because I saw it so early. And gosh dang it, they were right. And it's so funny to me. But yeah, I've got so much support when I came out, and that was so helpful. And that's why with my streaming, with my channel, with everything like that, I try to provide the same kind of support to people who might not have it in their immediate circle. Because coming out is hard. Being quote unquote different is hard. But there's people out there who will support you. Because you're not different. You're you. And that's a beautiful thing at the end of the day, because no one is like you. But there's commonalities between people, and there's people there to support you during this. And that's something really, really amazing. So with this Pride Month, this will be the second Pride Month that I've been openly LGBTQ+. But to kind of end this, I want to plug in an event of mine. We'll be doing a Pride-themed event this year for specifically my Twitch channel. We'll be actually hosting a game show that's a recurring event on my channel called A Totally Normal Series. And of course, this month is going to be a Totally Normal Pride event. So if you would like to watch these lovely creators that are going to kind of... There they are. If you would like to watch these lovely creators compete in a Pride event that's going to be for a charity known as the Trevor Project, which, in case you don't know, please check out, then feel free to catch us live at